We have a guest joining us in studio, Karl Helfner. Am I saying that right, Karl?
Yes, sir, you are.
We just spent a few minutes visiting with Karl, getting his story, and what a tale it is. 72 days?
72 days it's strong, yep.
Fantastic. Well, maybe that's not fantastic, but you had a great experience with the Ronald McDonald House, and I was wondering if you could let our listeners know your story.
Sure. So, back in April when we first got there, her surgery was supposed to be fairly routine. Simple valve replacement, not a big deal.
Her is your daughter.
Here's my daughter, Iris.
And how old is she?
She's 5. We knew that she needed it eventually, and this was kind of the time that came up. So, we weren't sure that we were going to actually stay in the house within the hospital because we are local. So we weren't sure whether or not we needed to be there or not, but we decided to stay anyway. And it's actually really good that we did, because about 48 hours after surgery, about 1 o'clock in the morning, I was actually in bed in the house, and somebody started banging on my door. My daughter's heart had stopped in the middle of the night. To this day, they still don't know why. But because of that house, I was 1 flight of stairs away. I was 30 seconds away from my little girl. And I cannot even remotely oversell how important that was. It was a horrible night to see 30 people in a room trying to keep a little girl alive. They spent 90 minutes manually beating her heart with their hands.
And you're standing there watching this whole thing?
Mm-hmm. I'm lucky I was there. Her mom was not. She was at home. I had to get somebody to come take her in, and when she was just shaking. I mean, she was in shock. The fact that I was there, I was in shock, I'm sure, but I didn't have to go through that whole drive of just fear and worry. I was just right upstairs. Don't get me wrong, it was about the scariest thing you'll ever go through in life. But throughout her stay, she had we couldn't get 48 hours apiece. Every other day it was something different. They had her on a heart-lung machine for about 11 days, and even during that time, her brand new valve got clogged up. They had to try and fix that. They perforated her heart by accident. She had a collapsed lung. She had 2 strokes. She had actually 7 total surgeries in the time that we were there.
Dear God, man.
Yeah. Including the pacemaker, which was probably the easiest one. Wow. And what you find out is that little kids are resilient, but you never really understand how resilient until you see this little 5-year-old who just refuses to give up. By the 6th time she went down for surgery, the surgical team actually gave her a nickname because they wheeled her in, and one of the cardiac surgeons just looks at her and goes, "Here she is again. This kid just won't give up." And they actually gave her a nickname, which was they call her Fighting Iris. And I actually laughed because I'm not a Notre Dame fan. And they're like, "We don't really care if you are." We gave her the nickname; she has it. But I can't really express how important that house is. We actually just got transferred yesterday over to Unity on the west side, and the first thing we realized is, where are we going to get something to eat? Who are we going to talk to? I spent 19 hours a day in that room with her. And when I would leave, the only place I would go was upstairs to that house. And everybody there, just whether you needed a shoulder to cry on, whether you needed an ear to listen, or somebody to make you laugh, somebody was always there.
What would your experience have been like if the Ronald McDonald House weren't an option? If you were having to commute back and forth from home during this whole thing?
I actually got to experience that a little bit. After about 45 days, Iris was actually doing well enough where there were just other sicker kids and their parents needed a space. So we took our leave and we started to commute. And commuting is rough. I mean, it's not that far from the east side to the hospital, but you're sitting there worried about what today's plan's going to be, what's going to happen with your little girl while you're sitting in traffic, and the ability to just walk downstairs really is immeasurable how valuable it is. It's a finite resource. For every room that's there, there's 20 other families that are waiting to get in there.
Who's cutting onions?
I know. I just want to give him a hug. Please tell me how she's doing. I gotta know. So
she's doing great. She's been transferred over to Unity for rehab.
Yes.
Physically, you'd never know other than the scars that she basically died for 90 minutes. She's still got a little ways to go. She'll probably be in neuro rehab for a few more weeks, but she's gonna be right as rain.
How's mom and dad?
Yeah. You're pretty strong there, Karl.
Yeah, it's for me. I'm really a logical guy, and I picked up on what I needed to understand, and you learn really quickly, and mom just kind of followed my lead. It's amazing how much I can tell you about cardiac kids now.
Yeah.
But one of the charge nurses who was there, who actually was in charge the night that I was coded, he looked at me and he's got 2 little kids at home, and he goes, "I don't know how you do this."
It's survival mode.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what you clicked into. What a blessing the Ronald McDonald House Charities of Rochester was for you and your family.
Yep, they really, really were. I can't thank them enough. And if they ever need anything, they know that they can always get a hold of me, whether it's talking to a parent who's going through their own nightmare. We even donated stuff while we were living there. We would go home and bring stuff from the house, just, whether it was a block of knives or travel kits for people that, come off a helicopter and don't have anything but their clothes on their back or the money in their wallet and don't know anybody. It takes everything away that you don't have to worry about.
Dude, I don't know if this was easy for you to come in here and tell this story or difficult, but I'm grateful that you did, because we can sit in here and talk about the great things that goes on over there, but to hear a firsthand account and testimony from a loving, caring father like yourself speaks volumes, and the phones are ringing off the hook right now. It's 424-HELP.
Well, I hope so. If I make a difference, even if it's a little bit every day, that's all that matters.
Karl, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you all, too.
Keeping families close.